Two-day practice today, this Monday, and you know, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. So, take some questions.
Mark, could you tell us about Connor Kruse, how he did Saturday and where he stands?
You know, Connor, you know, he did well. Obviously, he was injured a little bit, but it's not, you know, don't talk about the injuries if they're not season-ending. So it's not season-ending, so he'll be okay.
You didn't have any season-enders the other day, did you?
No, we have not had any.
Do you feel like he will be ready for the first game?
See, we don't talk about injuries.
Okay. If not,
I'll try and be as vague as I can here.
Would that be Clark inside then, Mark? Probably.
We'll move Clark. Yeah, we'll move Clark in there for right now, and you know, Cody Keeler up, and we moved Brandon Clemens over to guard right now as well, which he worked in the bowl game at guard. So there's, you know, he's not lost anything. So he would be a good player over there. So
how comfortable are you with Cody right now, jumping right in with the mix?
Very comfortable. I think Cody Keeler is one of the guys. When I looked at it in the spring, I thought he had an outstanding spring. You could make a case for him being one of the top 5, and I think he's had a very, very solid summer, and he's a very athletic, big guy, and he's tough, knows what to do. So he was a guy that was going to play for us, and as Coach Staten does, he's been rotating guys in there. So you know, we expect him to play anyway.
Is there any clarity at the receiver position on the depth chart?
Well, the only thing you know is that you know, we've got 6 or 7 guys playing. That's all you know. I've been impressed with Montae Nicholson as well. He's had a very, very solid summer camp. And guys continue to make plays, and you know, do they block? Are they functional in terms of running the right route? How do they catch the ball when the ball's you know, in traffic? And you know, those guys are doing a great job. So you really can shake them up and throw them out. They've all done an outstanding job. You know, obviously I think we have our 6 that are in there, but the other guys are very, very functional. So it's going to be interesting how that all shakes out at game time.
Mark, less than 2 weeks away now. Are you in the countdown to kickoff mode yet, or is that more next week?
I think that starts a little bit next week. You know, we'll finish up on what we have to do here, and we'll start moving towards Jacksonville State this week as well. But you know, I think when they come back, we'll give our guys off the weekend. When they come back, you know, we'll get focused in Sunday night more, and because I think you have to do certain things situationally in camp. You have to cover all the bases, so we're still doing those things.
Compared to some others, has this been a good camp?
Yeah, it's been a good camp. You know. Solid camp. You know, you never know until you get the game time. I really feel like that, you know, because you're going to hit adversity and you got to be able to handle it.
What percentage, I know you don't have it right in front of you, but guesstimate, did John Reschke get at the #1 mic on Friday, excuse me?
I don't have that percentage. He got about, you know, 45 plays though, but I'm not sure what the percentage is of Tawan.
Where is that competition right now?
I thought Tawan had a very good scrimmage, very solid scrimmage. He was productive. You know, the biggest thing is he getting people lined up in there? Is he taking control of the defense? And then is he playing fast after that? Is he getting off on the ball? And I think he's made great strides from the spring, and even from the first scrimmage to the second scrimmage, you've seen a definite improvement. And you know, I think that, you know, he had a winning performance on Saturday in terms of how he played in the scrimmage. And you know, defense won the scrimmage, played much better. And it was a very, very close scrimmage.
Is Reschke a legitimate threat for that #1 spot?
You know, the way I always look at it is, are guys functional? Can they go in there? Can they take snaps and can they play? Will they play in the game? John Reschke will play in a game. Beyond that, it depends on how he plays in the game. You know, does he ever become a 1 or does he stay at 2 right now? But he's going to get reps in the game. That's established. He's good enough to do that. He's functional. He makes plays, and you notice him.
Have Tyler or Damon separated themselves at all yet?
All 3 of our quarterbacks are having great camps, and they're much, much farther along than they were last year.
Mark, which newcomers would you expect to play in the opener?
Brian Allen's in the 2 deep, the offensive line. I think Nicholson's flirting there with the 2 deep at safety. Chris Fry's a guy that might show up on special teams. Those are probably the 3 guys right now that you're saying, okay, I think Madre may show up as well.
The defensive lineman?
And the defensive, yeah. You know, the defensive linemen are going to play. Yeah.
So, Mark, who are the other?
Those guys are going to play.
All 3 of them?
All 3 or 4 or 2. You know, obviously we'd like to hold a couple out to redshirt him.
Machado?
Machado will play as well, so I guess he's a newcomer as well.
Who are those other 2?
A lot of guys.
Who are those other 2 receivers? You got Burbridge, Monfrey, Kings, Lippett, and
Arnett's in there. I think A.J. Troop's had a very solid camp. You know, Barksdale continues to make plays. Max Sood's out there, had a nice run after a catch. You know, I said Montae Nicholson has been I've been very impressed with Montae. Those are the guys that I think I noticed, and that's about 10 guys. So that's a good situation. Just keep competing, and good things are going to happen.
How about Shelton? What's Shelton done?
Oh yeah, and RJ's a guy that's most. Yeah, he's in the top, fours.
How's he been moving?
Solid.
Fully receiver now.
Yeah, fully receiver, but
So is Cody Keeler
play a lot of positions.
Is Sims in that group too, Mike?
Yes, AJ's in that group too.
Has Keeler continued to make progress since the spring mark?
Yeah, I talked about Cody earlier. I think he's had a very solid camp, and I think he's ready to play full time for us. And I think he would have played even if Connor Kruse was right out there right now. We've been moving people around like Coach Staten likes to do to get everybody a piece of things.
Mark, last year when the offense was struggling a little bit, people asked about stats. You said it didn't matter, you just cared about winning. This year, your offensive coaches are spending a lot of time talking about improving stats. Is there concern about that on your part, or is that coming from you? Is that something that is going to matter a little bit more this year?
Well, I think the bottom line stat is how many points you score. And I think that's the thing that they want to try and, they want productivity. And, passing yards, rushing yards, lack of sacks, completion percentage, that all leads to productivity. Red zone, conversion stats, all leads to productivity. And I think that's what they're looking at, and I think we got that as the season progressed last year. And I think what they're trying to do is we want to get out fast. Whether that happens or not, I think it will, but hey, you never know. So, but I think that's what they're heading for. These things will create points on the board.
Are Clemens going to offense? Is that sort of a comment on what you've seen from the freshmen as well?
Yeah,
we've
got depth over there with our freshmen. I also think that Brandon can go over there and play defense. He's got 3 years under his belt, so we can stick him in there. We can get plays from him, and he graded winning on Saturday, and played a lot of reps on, played 35, 40 reps on defense. But he's got the experience, having been at bowl practice. He's a guy that our offense really liked at that position. Really didn't want to lose him, but when Scarpinato made the decision to go to dental school, not dental school, doctor. Well, I would be
Medical.
Yeah, medical school. I hope you didn't read that. Okay, medical school. That we lost the tackle, we had to keep him there for the spring.
Joel, on Saturday, can you talk about his performance? And is he? You said we'd know more today. Is he still #1 on the depth chart?
Yeah, he's #1 on the depth chart. I think LT's had an outstanding summer camp. He's a guy that looks like the real deal in there. Those are positive things, and Joel's been very solid.
Is there a reason you closed practice today, or is that just for focus reasons?
Just focus. We got a 2-a-days, and we got different things going on.
Mark, dating back to July, you've never been asked about punters and kickers. That's usually a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about those guys?
Both specialists are back. Mike Geiger's been extremely accurate. And Mike Sadler's a preseason All-American, been solid. Coming back after a knee injury, but he's fine. He's all good. Snapper's in place. I think our holders are in place. Our returners are in place. So I think we work extremely hard at our special teams aspect of our football team, and I think those specialists they're all Big Ten performers.
Who's going to return for you? I'm sorry.
Kicking off for us probably. That remains a little bit up to how we're going to play it out. But Cronin's been solid. But Geiger's been pretty good, but Cronin's been solid too. And Cronin's had a great camp as well, just kicking the ball, field goals.
Who are your return guys? You said those guys are.
Kings, RJ Shelton's moved back there, AJ Sims is back there, Nick Hill's back there. So we have 3 guys who've returned him in the games before, and I think RJ has that explosive ability, and he's been very solid back there.
You mentioned
the 5th guy probably is Darren Hicks.
You mentioned 3 running backs in the scrimmage recap. No Delton Williams. Did you hold him out?
We held out Delton, and we held out Langford.
Mark, you mentioned at the beginning of camp when Geiger said for 55 innings was money. We wait and see till camp goes a little bit farther. What have you seen?
From 50 innings, money.
50.
50 innings, money. So, but he's got the leg to get it there from 55. But I don't think he might have missed 2 kicks in camps thus far. So he's been very, very good. And we always grade our guys: is he winning? Is he losing? Is he? Because there is no average. Is he functional? Does he have a Big Ten championship grade? And Mike Geiger's had a Big Ten championship grade this camp.
Coach, did you see?
Did you say Montae Nicholson is, so he's out of it at cornerback now? He's strictly
We moved
safety?
him, well, I think he could go back out there and play, but we moved him into safety. He's a big-bodied guy. He was one of the more productive players, actually, in the scrimmage at safety. So we moved him back in there, you know, because we had a couple guys nicked up, and I think that's his position. That's where he'll stay at this point in time. But I think he can play any of those positions personally, but, you know, he's got to be able to play in and out. Like I said before, he's got to put plays behind each other. And I think it's easier to do at safety, maybe not from a knowledge standpoint, but from a physical standpoint, it's easier to do at safety.
Will you go live at all this week?
Just went this morning.
Concerned about more guys. Offensive line depth, Mark. Do you have enough right now to handle something like this?
Yeah, because we moved Brandon Clemens over there. You know, we're in good shape, and you know, James Kittredge started at center for Vanderbilt back when he was a freshman. So I mean, that's always a possibility that we could even go one more and put another guy over there with extensive experience on the offensive line.
You see Clemens like you did Makaja? He can go either way, play either side of the ball. And
Yeah, I really do. I mean, Brandon is a very smart football player. He's extremely long arms. He's athletic. He can run. You take a guy now that you got a guy that runs 4'9" and is 290 pounds, you know, in there on the offensive line now, and he knows what to do. I mean, the guy's a good football player, and you know, he spent 2 weeks in bowl practice working on the offensive line. So there's retention there. We've got time. And then again, we've not lost Connor Kruse for the season. So whether he makes the Oregon game or not, I'm not sure. But you know, we've not lost him for the season. He'll be back sooner than later.